Hello and welcome. I hope one day to maybe have a porch that I can sit on and rock back and forth, that we could be neighbors, and if you pass me by I would say good morning, or sometimes I would say that's it. I wouldn't say anything. I'd be quite the enigma of a neighbor, but I don't have a porch. So for now, I have to be in the internet, and we are neighbors in the internet. It's okay in here. It's pretty dusty. It's dusty inside of the internet, but I like it well enough. And typically, speaking of coffee, on this channel, when we have coffee together, it might be my second or third cup of coffee, but not today. Today, we are having cup number 1, because it's the morning, actually. It's the morning. The train's coming. Actually, it might not be that loud today, because it rained. Let's see. So far, so good. Not bad. Not bad. It's raining today. It's a bit of a gloomy, Halloweeny kind of day. And because it's rained, the trains make less noise. It's more of a whoosh. Because sometimes they screech into the stations because the tracks are dry. Is this another train? Oh my gosh. I'm cutting this one out. Okay, yeah. I cut out that second train because a second train, I was being nice. I was being generous. But that's taking advantage of my patience a little bit. Speaking of cutting that out of the video, I wonder if you noticed that I have a haircut, and well, I don't know. Bangs are difficult. I don't really get. I cut some of the pieces of my hair quite short, and I cut my own hair. I've cut my own hair for, God, I don't know, 10 years. I haven't had a real haircut in a long time. And I stand by that because I spend my money on really specific things. Things that I really feel have value to me. And a haircut, I don't know, y'all. As of now, I get compliments on my hair. It could be better, yes. It could be less frizzy, yes. But I get compliments on my hair, and people seem to like my hair, so I keep cutting it. And, sometimes I chop off a section that I'm like, probably shouldn't have cut that off, but now I've got some money in my pockets to go get coffee with, and that's just a joy. That's really, especially if I go get coffee with someone, I'd rather do that, and I could do that, twice, 3, 4 times, depending on how much I would have spent on a haircut. And one haircut versus like 4 conversations, getting to know someone or just catching up. Yeah, I choose that. And because I'm not Jeff Bezos, and that's kind of where the bar is. I'm not Jeff Bezos rich. I don't do both. I choose the coffee. So, what the heck is this video about? What's going on here? This haircut got me looking weird. this. Maybe people would think I'm creative. But I bring up the coffee thing in a roundabout way because this video is about vaguely gothicness. It's about Robert Smith's shoes, pretty much. And maybe I'll throw in some lesbian content. Stay tuned. But mostly it's about Robert Smith's shoes and being kind of gothically inclined. Coffee's gonna be mentioned because I'm quite gothic on the inside, and it manifests. Another train is coming in black t-shirts. Okay, I cut out that train sound, but my gothicness manifests as a lot of black, and I'm a very jovial person. I like to joke, I like to be silly, but I love black clothing. However, lately I have taken to, and I wear black boots, but lately I have taken to this pair of red and pink shoes. Here's a little clip. Here's a little tattoo flashing my tattoos, but I'm also revealing my shoes and my fit. I got my jewelry on. My shoes. So I've got this pair of shoes, and I usually wear it with like an all black outfit. But I remember when I was younger and I saw pictures of goth people, Robert Smith was the only one wearing shoes that were like, had nothing to do with goth culture at all. And that fascinated me. It was quite the look. He's always had quite the look. And I've got a pair of shoes that are also not very goth, because they're bright red and pink, but I adore them. I just really adore them. I think very much this is important. What is that philosophy called? I think it's Japanese philosophy, in which there's like one thing that is an error, quote unquote, an error or off or an intentional mistake. Let me look it up. Oh yeah, so here's kintsugi, Japan's ancient art of embracing imperfection when you join pieces of broken ceramic with gold. I saw though, taking a tour of this house that is in California. I think it's the Procter & Gamble house. Is that it? I don't know. But pretty much there was some mistakes, quote unquote, intentionally put in the house. And it's a practice. When you see it, it's a mental practice of releasing perfectionism, surrendering to change, to aberration. So it's intentionally done in design to eliminate perfection. So it's an intentional flaw or a disruption in a pattern to provide the occupant of the home or the visitor a chance to kind of release and connect to a different value. In a weird way, Robert Smith's shoes have always been that to me, this thing that disrupts the genre, yet the integrity of the genre is maintained, and because of the disruption of the pattern with a non-goth shoe, you get something quite refreshing and original and new. And so I quite like that. I wear my own shoes, my own disruptor shoes, to go get coffee in the city sometimes. Now I live in London, but lately, so, living in London, living anywhere, you have many types of coffee at your disposal, right? A cappuccino is my favorite. That's what I've made for myself this morning, actually, is a cappuccino. You've got many kinds of coffee at your disposal. But lately, I have taken to disrupting the pattern. Now, there are many, many things that disrupt the pattern. In my opinion, me being a lesbian disrupts the pattern, certain times and in certain ways, in a way that's kind of nice. And I've noticed in spaces, especially with other women, I've been quite embraced, straight women, and it's kind of fun. When I was younger, it was not fun. But lately, as I've gotten older, and I'm in a big, contemporary city, I break the pattern sometimes, and I'm like lesbian, or I'm American, and it's fun, and I feel quite embraced, Sometimes when you're more gothic, or you're more alternative presenting, you break the pattern, and I like that too. So, one of my things that I've been doing lately, instead of getting the cappuccino, instead of going to the London that is like Dickinsonian Harry Potter land, and my god, y'all, the Harry Potter stuff in central London. Anyways, I've been breaking the pattern. Instead of going to, central London, the popular places, instead of getting a cappuccino, my shoes, Robert Smith's shoes, have inspired me to go and get something completely different. Indian filter coffee. I did not know that this existed before being in London until another American invited me out to this little place that she'd been wanting to try, and they had coffee, and it opened up an entire world for me. Indian filter coffee. I didn't know. Apparently, it's popular in South India. There are different methods for cultivating the beans. It's just completely different. And when you taste it, it is so different. Wow. I have been going to get filter coffee. And I put on my shoes. I head out the door. I take a train. I take a little train trip. And it drops me off in an area of London with these really, they're kind of like shiny glass skyscrapers, This place is very clean. You would not, in my opinion, you would not know that that is London. That could be anywhere. The title, not, oh my god, why am I blinking? The name. The place is called Isle of Dogs. It's a section of London, Isle of Dogs. And they have all these places. They have chai. They seem to have high populations from India, and it's amazing. The food is amazing. The coffee is amazing. Everyone's really nice. And so it doesn't have Gothic aura at all. It doesn't have alternative aura at all. It's not gay at all. But I like it. I mentioned before in a video about when I was in California, my favorite coffee was in a hospital complex. It was outside, because getting it made me feel like a person. It made me feel connected, and I have found that to be true since moving here, that coffee still is this way, it's this means by which you can connect to humanity, depending on what kind of coffee and where. So I've really taken to other kinds of coffee, and because I find it so easy to get around the city, I can get Indian filter coffee, incredible. I can get Turkish coffee, incredible. I can get a cappuccino, yes, I can get it. I can get the cappuccino. But I can also get, the world's my oyster kind of. That being said, the best filter coffee I've been able to find has been in central London. But I'm determined to go everywhere and find more coffee. This is why I don't spend the money on the haircut, because I'd rather have this going on, but go a few times a week to try different coffee places. And I have found that breaking the pattern has led to some of the most enriching experiences for me as far as coffee goes. Breaking the pattern with who I talk to, who I socialize with. Since moving here, I will socialize with anyone, and that is quite refreshing. I like other people who break the pattern in these little ways, like Robert Smith's shoes, or going to Isle of Dogs instead of Buckingham Palace or whatever. Going to these rando places, but with real people, with different populations of people. All that is I think incredible for the brain, and it's healthy for the ego. Weather here in London breaks the pattern. I don't know about a place where the sun shines all the time. That's beautiful, but I like getting rained on, you know what I mean? It's quite nice. The rain is like Robert Smith's shoes to me, where I think, oh thank goodness, it's different, I like this. It helps me feel different. Two things quite quickly. One, check this out. This is a to-go container. It's cappuccino size, I think it's 6 ounces. So I have more cappuccino in here I'm going to refill. But also, there are some people whose eyes are attuned to the breaking of the pattern. They are attuned to the pattern. Some authors that I've been reading their essays lately, I had to go dig around for my copy because I've been reading this. It's in my backpack. This is James Baldwin. James Baldwin and Montaigne. Wow. The smaller copy that I have, that I started with, was this one. Montaigne Essays. I bring up these two books because I talk about seeing the pattern and seeing what breaks the pattern. These writers are doing it. So James Baldwin is of course writing in the 50s and 60s about the state of social politics concerning African Americans, the lives of black people, segregation, integration, and then you've got Montaigne, who's writing about everything. And what did he live back in the, God, I don't even know, something like the hundreds. Well, he wrote his To the Reader in 1580. So these two voices are coming at us through time for really different reasons. in really different ways. But they both, you can tell the people for who they see the things that break the pattern as beautiful and not wrong. As beautiful, and they see the pattern as not making any sense. And in fact, the breaking the pattern is the rule. Breaking the rule is the rule. Change is the state. And of course, there are authors throughout time that are fighting against, struggling against conceptions of right and conceptions of sameness. So James Baldwin is a beautiful, beautiful writer, and an incredible thinker, and his work speaks loudly, as does Montaigne's. Speaks loudly to a contemporary audience. I don't know why there are so many trains today, but there are a lot. Maybe more and more people are needing to go get their filter coffee. I know that later this week I will also be going to find a new one somewhere. So, what a video, right? I'm talking about Robert Smith shoes being this disruption in pattern, but I think that again, the disruption of the pattern is the pattern. To be goth at all, to be gothically inclined, to be a lesbian, to be whatever, you break a pattern. To live in Isle of Dogs, and that breaks a pattern, In Isle of Dogs, I've seen a lot of women wearing a burqa, and that breaks a pattern. Populations of people break a pattern, and there's a lot of discourse around these things, thinking that these things are wrong or incorrect, or they threaten the whole, they threaten everything, but they are the whole. They are everything, Robert Smith's shoes are goth, so are mine, if that's how they're utilized, Yeah, in a major metropolitan city, you're gonna have many types of people, many cultures, and many coffees, and I think it's wonderful and amazing and beautiful. And I know that that's where reality lies. That's where magic is, actually. That is it. In central London, the magic is Harry Potter, But it's Harry Potter gifts and stuff. That has a charm. But I quite like Isle of Dogs. I quite like these random parts of London. And both of these authors, James Baldwin and Montaigne, again, incredibly different times in life and human history. Both traveled, and they were both exposed to other people and the complexity of life, and really sharpened their emotional life and intellect on that. In my honest opinion, Robert Smith wearing those shoes, that is like the goth standard, That's it. That's the essence. That's what it's about. And it's beautiful. And I think people who operate in the world, and they are able to go surf the reality of difference and diversity, and maintain integrity, and use that to build their view of the world, that wins my utmost respect. That is it to me. That's what being alive is to me. So if you got that, if you go into the world with an open mind and an open heart and like a critical eye when you see things that aren't right, that's it. It's like the best it can be. So, anyway, that was my morning little chat with you. I hope that made sense. I don't know. But, oh, another train, oh my god. You know why? Because it's the morning and everyone's going to work. Except for me. I'm a lazy bum. I'm already at work. I work at my computer. I posted this life update on Patreon a while back, but to be clear, I am going back to school. Okay, there was a noise. And I'm still working my job for a little bit, but I work at home. I still work my job in addition to my ASMR, but I'm hoping to do increased amount of videos because I like ASMR and I like making videos, just like I like getting coffee and cutting my own hair. This is the landscape of my life at the moment, and lots of coffee. So this is coffee number 1 today. I'm gonna have coffee at home today, and I hope that you're able to have something that you like, whether it's coffee, tea, matcha. Maybe you're one of those filthy matcha drinkers. Is that you? I bet a lot of queer people want to. A lot of people want. Yeah, you might like matcha. I don't dislike matcha, but I think she's trying to wrestle the lesbian flag out of my hand, and I'm like, no, matcha girls. It's not all about you, okay? It's not all about you, matcha girls. Okay. How about Indian filter coffee? What about chai? I don't know. I like matcha with strawberry. I don't know if that is like more lesbian, if that's less lesbian. I don't know. Might be less. But I tend to stick with the coffee. But I know many a matcha drinker. Okay. I hope that, no matter where you are, no matter what you're drinking, that you are able to relax and have a positive time, have an interesting time, and I will definitely see you soon in another video, so stay tuned for that. Okay, I'm gonna go have more coffee the rest of the entire day, so I will see you soon, and good